Hi, my name is Ahmed Shakir and I joined STEM Zag with Miss Nesma. Now I'm gonna present my app. It's based on a to-do list. So I put a header and an H1. Here's my Ahmed's to-do list. Now for example, you have to exercise in your day and add it. It gets added. So eat lunch, it gets added. So you want to, for example, check. That's what happens. Now you could delete it, and for example, you check that. Get completed, it gives you what you completed, and get all, it gives you what everything. That's basically my app, and you could delete and delete. So that's basically it. Now my code is, first of all, we put a meta charset UTF-8, a meta name viewport content with device width, and initial scale is 1.0. Now I linked a Google font named Poppins, and I also linked a font awesome, which is icons. And then I linked my CSS, yes, and I put a title of to-do list, and in my body I put a header and H1, Ahmed's to-do list, and then I put a form. I put the input text, and I put the button, the type is submit, and then I put inside that button I put a icon FA plus square, so that's the add button. Next I put a selector, and I put the option all and completed and uncompleted, so that's this, completed, uncompleted. And then I put a div, a to-do container, and I put a UL inside it. This is the place, that UL is the place that the to-dos is gonna get added in. My CSS, I just put for the whole thing a margin of 0 and padding of 0 and box sizing border box. I put inside the body I put a background image, a linear gradient 120 degrees of this color, which is yellow, and this color is orange, so you'll have a yellow and orange from the other side, half. Next I put a font family, the Poppins, so what I had in my HTML, and sans serif. And then I put the color white, so the text is going to be colored white, and a min height of 100 VH. In my header I did the font size of 1.5 rem. So in my header and form I put a display flex, a min height 20 VH, a justify content in the center, and align the items in the center. For my form input and form button I put a padding of 0.5 rem, a border of none, a font size of 2 rem, and a background white. Now my form button I put a padding of 0.644 rem, I put the color orange, and then I put the background white, and my cursor pointer and my transition all 0.3 second ease. Now the form button, when it's hovered, I want the background to turn to this, and the color is gonna be white, so instead of it being this, it's gonna be opposite. This is gonna turn white, and this is gonna be a background of an orange color. And then my to-do container, I put a display flex, a justify contents in the center. I wanted to align the items in the center, and I put a margin right of 15%. In my to-do list, I put a min width of 40% and a list style none. So when the to-do is added, I don't want it to have a bullet point. And then my to-do, I put a margin of 0.5 rem. My background is white, the color is black of the text. My display flex and font size 1.5 rem. I put justify content. I want space in between. I wanted to align items in the center, and I put a transition all 0.5 second ease. So my to do li, I put a flex of 1 so the buttons can be next to each other. Now my complete button and delete button, I put a padding of 0.5 rem, a background of red, like a orange, a reddish orange, something like that, a color of white, and a border none. Padding is 1 rem, and cursor is pointer. Font size is 1 rem. My complete button, I'll put a background RGB of like a green color, 7320473, so it's kind of green. And then I put a to do item, padding 0 rem and 0.5 rem. I put a complete button active, background green. Now my delete button active, background is red. Now FA trash and FA check. So these are like the icons, the check mark and trash. I put pointer events none, and then completed item. I put text decoration line through and opacity. So when the completed item, like when you press on the button of complete the completed item, the text will have a line through, and the opacity will be 0.5. Then I did my like an animation. So fall, I wanted to translate y to 8 rem and rotate z 20 degrees, and I want the opacity to be 0. Then I put the select, well, like the selector, a WebKit appearance none, Moz appearance none, outline none, and border none. And then in my div select, I put a margin of 1 rem, a position relative, and overflow hidden. In my select, I put a color of this and a width of 10 rem, a cursor pointer, and padding 1 rem. So select dot colon after content 25 BC, position absolute, background is like a orange reddish, top is 0 and right is 0, a padding of 1 rem, pointer events is none, and then I did a transition all 0.3 second ease, and then select, hover, and after the background will be white and the color will be like a reddish orange. So instead of this being a background of orange and like the cursor be white, when you come out on it, the background will become white and this will become orange. And that's it for CSS. My JavaScript, I did a const to do input document equals document dot query selector, and I put it to do input. Then my const to do button, I put a document dot query selector to do button, and const to do list equals document dot query selector to do list, and same thing, filter option equal document dot query selector filter to do. Now my to do button, I added an event listener, and when it's clicked I wanted to add a to do, and I did a to do list and I added an event listener. When it's clicked I wanted to delete check, and filter option dot add event listener, click filter to do. So I'd added a function and called it add to do because we are gonna use that, and I put an event. Now I did an event.prevent default so it doesn't refresh when I press the button. And then I put a const to do div equals document.create element div. So I wanted to create a div, and I put that to do div equals classlet dot add a to do. Now I did const new to do equals document.create element li. I wanted to create an li, and I put a new to do dot inner text equals to do input dot value. So the inner text of to do input dot value is gonna be the to do. Now the new to do dot class list dot add, I wanted to add a do item, my to do div, append child to new to do, and then if to do input dot value is equal to nothing, then return null. My const completed button, so check mark button, the completed button equals document.create element. I wanted to create a button. In the completed button dot inner HTML, so inside the HTML I wanted to add an icon of check, like the check mark. My completed button class list dot add is completed btn. to do div dot append child of completed button. Now I did that delete button is exactly the same as checkmark button, but all the differences I change everything to like a trash or delete button, so it's exactly the same thing. What's different is now I did a clear to do input value. So for example, to do input dot value is equal to nothing. So for example, you added to do. When you add it to do, the like the text inside the input is gonna get deleted when you add it. Like you can't see the text. So that's what this is. Now I added another function and I called it delete check. I got the event, and then I did a const item equals event.target. Now I wanted to delete, like I'm doing the delete item. So if item.classlet is 0, I wanted to delete button. Const to do equals item dot parent element. Now I did the animation transition, so to do dot classless dot add, I want it to fall, and I did a to do add event listener. When it's transitioned, the function is gonna be to do remove, so remove the to do when after it's transitioned. Now completed button, I mean complete item. So if item dot class list is equal to 0, equal complete button, and const to do equals item dot parent element to do dot classless dot toggle completed item. So almost the same as delete item. Now I filtered the tasks according to the option. So I did another function, filter to do. I grabbed the event, then I did a const to do is equal to do list dot child nodes. For let I equals 1, I to do's dot length I plus plus. So I wanted to switch e dot target dot value, and case all I wanted to do's I dot style dot display flex, and break. So when it's like when you choose in the selector all, it's gonna give you everything. And then I did the case completed if to do's dot I dot classless dot contains a completed item, then to do's I dot style dot display equals flex, else to do's I dot style dot display equals none. So when it chooses completed, it gives me the completed items. And then I put a break, and then I did a case of uncompleted if to do's I put a exclamation mark to do's I dot classlet dot contains completed item. So you might be wondering why this is completed item instead of uncompleted item. Well, this exclamation marks means if it's not a completed item, then that's what's gonna appear. So that means the uncompleted items. And then I put a to do's I dot style dot display flex, and else to do's I style dot display none. And then I put a break. So everything I did makes this app work. And thank you. This was my app. Bye.